guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you all of the books that I am planning on reading in August. So I managed to read 11 books, I think it was, in July, which is way out of the ordinary for me and is definitely not going to be repeated this month. Last month was a great reading month, but I just know, especially considering I'm filming this on the 10th and I don't think I've finished another book since Booktube-a-thon, that's just not gonna happen again. Also, August is a much busier month for me just because I'm going back to school and I'm traveling the second half of this month, so I'm just like not anticipating reading a lot. I'm actually packing up my things and leaving my house in a week, and I'm going to New York to spend some time with my friend there for her birthday, and I'm going down to DC to spend some time with my boyfriend, then I'm going back to school and having to move in and everything, so it's gonna be a busy month. But of course, you know, with all of those flights and stuff, I feel like I can squeeze some reading in, so I have made a hopeful pile. So let's just get straight into it. The first book that I'm going to talk about I'm actually currently reading right now. It's Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. I'm currently filming a reading vlog for this. I'm hoping to finish it within the next couple of days. I'd say I'm like 450, maybe 500 pages in. I'm not exactly sure because I was listening to the audiobook last. I've been switching back and forth between the two. This is the 6th book in the Throne of Glass series, although it's different than the rest of the books because instead of following our usual main characters, we're kind of taking a little side turn and following Kale Westfall. I'm not really going to talk about anything else about the plot because there's like major spoilers for this series in this synopsis, so I'm just like not going to go there. As a lot of you guys know, if you've stayed caught up on my Throne of Glass stuff, I'm really not a fan of the character that this book follows, so I'm not going to lie, getting through this book is a little bit of a struggle for me, but I think it's going to make for an entertaining reading vlog. But yeah, I definitely want to finish this because I know the next book in the series is coming out, I think, in October, so I really want to finish this before that. The second book I have on my TBR I'm so excited to dive into, and that is The Dire King by William Ritter. This is the 4th book in the Jacoby series, which I have talked about a lot in my recent videos. I don't know if this is the final book in the series. Yeah, it's the epic conclusion. That makes me really disappointed. I wish it were a longer series just because I love it so much. I'm really excited to pick up this next book. The 3rd book in the series I read last month and it's my favorite so far, so we'll see if this conclusion lives up to it. The Jacoby series I've explained often as like a mixture of Sherlock Holmes, Doctor Who, and a little bit of Scooby-Doo thrown in there. It's about this investigator who has this sort of power that allows him to see supernatural elements that no one else can see. So him, along with his assistant, who's actually the narrator of the books, are out solving these supernatural crimes and mysteries, and it's such a fun comedic series. They are so easy to fly through. I always read these books in like a sitting or two. I can't put them down, and they always just put a smile on my face. So I'm very excited to continue with this series. I guess not continue with this series, to finish this series. It's actually kind of a trend with this month as I'm trying to like get my life together and finish up the series that I just have like one last book for. So the next book on my list is A Million Worlds with You by Claudia Gray. This is the 3rd and final book in the Firebirds trilogy. I finished the 2nd book for this, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe 3. It was a long time ago, and I have absolutely no idea why I haven't read the last book yet because I love this series, but it's like finally time. This series is like a, not time travel, but like dimension traveling. There's this device that allows you to travel to like parallel universes, and you like go into the body of whatever version of you is in that universe, kind of like as a host, and our main character is kind of getting screwed over by like different versions of herself, and it's a really fun series. Don't mind the condition of my book. It may or may not have gotten run over by a car. My only problem with this series is it's got a love triangle in it, like, but it's not that bad. But I totally ship the side of the love triangle that's clearly not going to work out, so that's upsetting. I think that's the first time that's ever happened to me, actually. But I think this series has probably the prettiest covers I have ever seen, and it's just like a really fun, fast-paced series. It's not one of my favorites, but it's definitely just like a fun, kind of trashy, fast read that's just enjoyable. Ooh, this book has a sticker on it. I'm gonna take it off so you don't have to see how ugly that looks.
Oh no, it's ripping. Oh god, I hate when this happens.
Cut to commercial while I get this off. Okay, the next book on my TBR is Fairest by Marissa Meyer. I read Stars Above last month and I loved it, and it just kind of got me back in the mindset of the Lunar Chronicles, and so I knew I wanted to pick up the other companion book for this series. Stars Above is a collection of short stories about the different characters in the series, but I believe Fairest is an origin story for the villain of this series, so it's all about Queen Lavanna. I've heard people say that they liked Stars Above of more than they liked Ferris, but that this was interesting to kind of learn more about Levana and why she's so evil. But Queen Levana is honestly one of my favorite villains because she's so evil and just like scary. She like legitimately scares me. So I'm very interested to read her origin story. I'm also a little afraid of it because I feel like it's gonna be like really dark. But this is a super short, I guess it's like not even a book, it's like a novella. So it's about 200 pages, so that's kind of what I need for this month. And then the last book that I'm hoping to get to for this month I've actually already started as well. I think I got makeup on this book cover. Is Sacred Powers by David G. It's actually a non-fiction book and it's a little odd. You're probably like, what is that, Katie? It's very off-brand for you, I know. I'm trying to branch out more with my reading and I've been trying to read at least like one non-fiction book per month along with all of my novels. And this was recommended to me. Honestly, I don't really know exactly what it has to do with. The cover says the 5 secrets to awakening transformation. I've heard it's about like spirituality and meditation, and as you guys may know, I'm like super into meditation right now. It's kind of just one of those like self-improvement books. It's supposed to be like inspirational, motivational, that kind of thing. It's definitely not something I plan on reading in one sitting. It's more of like, I have a morning routine where I like to wake up and have my cup of coffee in the morning, so it's more of like I read a chapter every morning with my morning cup of coffee, and we'll see how it goes. I feel like these kind of books are sort of hit or miss. I've talked about Big Magic a lot by Elizabeth Gilbert. I read that earlier this year and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a fantastic book in this genre, but I've also read a lot of books in this genre that I just found like really cheesy and kind of like mumbo jumbo, talking in circles, not ever really making a point. So it's definitely too early to know whether or not I'm gonna like this book. I've only read like the preface and the introduction and chapter 1. The writing is a little bit cheesy and I'm trying really hard to like suspend my, not disbelief, but like annoyance kind of. I'm like, Katie, don't roll your eyes, don't think this is cheesy, just like take it all with a grain of salt, you might pick up some interesting things in here. That's what I'm kind of like going into this, trying to be open-minded. That makes it sound like this book is like terrible and I'm like trying to tolerate it. I'm definitely not like far enough into this or anything to say, but I have heard good things about this. I was recommended this book by people that I trust, so I'm hoping that it has some like cool things in here that are gonna blow my mind or something, or just really resonate with me. So I guess we'll just have to see. So those are the books that I have on my TBR that I definitely want to try and get to, and that's 5 books, and I definitely think I can finish that. That's totally reasonable even for a busy month for me. There are some tentative books on my TBR that I will get to if I finish these 5, but I'm like not banking on that, and those I have as audiobooks from Scribd. I actually think I have a physical copy for a couple of these, but my tentative TBR books are Always and Forever Lara Jean, which is again another conclusion to a series that I need to finish. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to read the last book in the series, to be honest, because I wasn't like a huge fan of the first 2 books and I didn't own the 3rd book, so I was like, do I want to spend money on that? But then the audiobook just became available on Scribd, and since I've already paid for my membership for this app, like it's free with my membership, I might as well listen to it if I have the time. So, you know, maybe while I'm road tripping with my boyfriend or on a flight or something, I'll just tune into the audiobook because it's not super long. I also have Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab, which is again the 2nd book in this duology, so that also makes the last book in this series, which is the sequel to This Savage Song. I read This Savage Song last month and I loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, so I have been highly anticipating this sequel. And again, I didn't own a copy, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna pick it up soon or just like wait until I eventually picked up a copy, but then the audiobook just became available, so now I have to read it. And those are my top priorities. In the app Scribd, you can make lists to kind of like organize the audiobooks you have saved. So I have an August TBR list, and I've definitely added more books to this TBR than I'm actually going to read. But if I do get to these, I have Blood of Wonderland by Colleen Oakes, which is the sequel to Queen of Hearts. I also have My Lady Jane by Brody Ashton, because a lot of you guys have recommended that to me. I just saw it and I recognized the cover. I have The Bird and the Blade by Megan Bannon, because this is a recent release and I haven't read a lot of recent releases recently. And then the last thing I have is Tiny Pretty Things by Doniel Clayton. Is it pronounced like Daniel, just spelled weirdly? I don't know. I added this one last minute because I was watching a video from Emma over at Emma Books, and she was talking about how much she loved this and how it was just kind of like a trashy book, and I'm like always in the mood for those kind of books. So I was like, I'll just throw it onto my TBR. We'll see if I get to it. So yeah, that is my TBR for August, plus my like tentative, maybe I'll get to them books. Let me know what books you are dying to get to this month. I would love to know. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media or anything like that, all of those links are down below in the description. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please stick around. I would love to be friends. And I will just see you guys in my next video very, very soon. Bye.